As my introduction stands, I just would like to say that I'm actually housed at the ACLU, but I'm leading a 10-year effort to end solitary in all U.S. jails and prisons called Unlock the Box. I want to just say that New Jersey is part of that effort. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the kind of national context in criminal justice and how New Jersey kind of fits into that piece. I think importantly, I came into this work working on youth justice issues many years ago, and over 10 years ago, New Jersey, I was introduced to New Jersey because I had folks like you all calling my national office when I was at the Campaign for Youth Justice saying, we are treating kids as adults, we have a huge problem, come to New Jersey. And so that was my first introduction, was really on the youth issue. And I know New Jersey folks love children. So, that has really been the entree point for me into the work of New Jersey and the advocates in these spaces. And I have to say that I was reading this article that was in the registration packets about it's the end of the year review, Latino Grassroots Takes Hold. And I think that what's unique about New Jersey is that you guys are nestled between Philadelphia and New York, and often don't get the credit you deserve, but also the national media attention because of where you guys are sandwiched. And that, this feels, very much like what I understand New Jersey to be, which is this forever kind of neglected by the political world. It couldn't be more familiar to me working in New Jersey. But I will say that New Jersey has effectively over time taken on the most tough issues in the criminal and juvenile legal systems, really. And you guys are scrappy and you're fighters. In 2004, when New Jersey started partnering with the Annie Casey Foundation on the alternatives to detention work, that's really where I started to see the culmination of the foundation world, the advocates, and the people most affected start to come together. And that resulted basically in the number of youth detained in county and state facilities by 80%. 80%. In 10 years of the work I was doing at the Campaign for Youth Justice, we were able to reduce the numbers of kids in adult court across the country by 75%. You guys are leaders in this work, truly. I think to kind of build on the success that New Jersey's also moved forward on many legislative packages, as you all know. This is the 17 pages that Cookie was talking about of the bills, and you've had wonderful leadership. And my most recent work in New Jersey has been focused on solitary confinement. And I was, when I started the Unlock the Box campaign, the goal really is, maybe not the goal, but the theory of change really is around removing and banning solitary for all children, 21 and under, banning solitary for all vulnerable populations, and that is broadly defined, and also implementing the Nelson Mandela rules. And for the Nelson Mandela rules are important because it's a UN national kind of minimum standard in which they declare in these rules that anything past 15 days is considered prolonged and long-term. So we've really been trying to spread the word kind of about what Mandela is. It's a soft law, but it does help kind of create a firewall, so to speak, to hold up the laws that do exist. And I think it's really important to understand that it's also just a minimum standard. So 15 days is what we're shooting for, but I know folks around this country who are really trying to go beyond that as well. And just so you all know, in the Isolated Confinement Restriction Act that was recently signed passed and signed by the governor, the Mandela rules were actually in that piece of legislation. And so they didn't pass at 15 days. The compromise was 20 days. But I'll say to you all in this room, it's the most progressive piece of legislation we have in this country. And you guys are leading the path. The rest of the states are looking at New Jersey. I was in Philadelphia yesterday. They fashioned their piece of legislation off of New Jersey. I was, where else was I this week? Somewhere. And they also were using New Jersey legislation to use as a model. And so that New Jersey and New York are the two places that have really gone beyond. And New York has not passed their solitary bill. So congratulations to you all here in New Jersey, and for folks working on that. If you would please stand to be acknowledged, because I know that was a heavy lift.
Your support is your support.
I mean, the support that the Unlock the Box gives to the states is pretty minimal financial support mostly, but our theory of change is really harkens on the fact that we know nothing at the federal level is going to move, and isn't moving. We have a national solitary bill in the House, and we have a national solitary bill in the Senate, and those aren't moving. And so we really rely on our partners in the states to get us to a tipping point in which we think is really imminent. 29 states introduced some type of anti-solitary legislation in 2019. 8 of those states passed something and it was signed into law. That was the first of its kind. It was really a banner year. I mean, that's more than half of the states in the country are examining their laws around solitary confinement. You know, I'm already over my time, and I still have 2 pages of notes in which to brag on you all, but to say that, you know, this new level of oversight in prisons, I hope you all will be like rabid dogs on all over the commission on that, and making sure that our people behind the walls are not being tortured, and that their claims don't go unfiled. I'll just wrap up by saying, you know, there are other pieces of work that you guys have been involved in criminal justice, but also around marijuana legalization and immigrants' rights, and that's not to be lost, because I'm sure most of you in this room have touched one or all of those in many ways. And so I just really want to congratulate you all on the amazing work that's happening in this state. And I know that you guys often feel forgotten, but that you're really not. The spotlight's on you right now on some of these pieces. So congratulations.